So I paid her for 2 hours of consulting. We had a 4.5, 5 hour consulting session on a Sunday. And literally in 28 days, we put the business together. And she was like, when I first came here, she was like, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you for 5, 6 years to leave the corporate job to come over because you've had an entrepreneurial spirit in your mind. When I was at FAMU, when I was in college, man, I was selling everything: English papers, donuts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kings Can Move On podcast. In the house, you have Big Frank, aka Frank the Tank, aka Big Reno, KC's finest. What's happening?
Just two of them this time, dog? Just two? Okay. All right.
No, I did three. I did three today.
You did three of them?
KC's finest, Big Reno, Frank the Tank.
Okay. All right, big dog. Well, it's your boy Jay, aka Wood, aka KC H-Town. What's up, everybody? Hey, we got some guests tonight. We got a guest in the house, Mr. Stephen Richmond. He is the owner and operator of Rich Fit Foods. How you doing, Stephen?
Good, man. How y'all doing?
Good, brother. Good to see you, man.
And listen, I just did a little quick intro, so go ahead, tell us about yourself. What you got going on.
Owner, operator, Rich Fit Foods. We're a meal prep delivery company. We do catering, and we also do private chef work. Pretty much servicing Houston and the surrounding areas. Any kind of meals you need, meal prep replacement. If you're a bodybuilder, if you are a contestant, I'm not a contestant, if you're a competitor, excuse me. If you're a mom, a dad, somebody that doesn't have the time to cook, if you're someone that's in the gym rat, pretty much all genres of someone that needs food, we can take care of you.
Are you still focusing on healthy foods, or are you branched out to other kind of foods too?
So, I mean, it's still a healthy food company. I got some things in the works, man, food truck and some other stuff that I'm, wanting to launch in the next 12 to 18 months, maybe 12 months or so. That's going to be, I can't think of the word, comfort food. There we go. I want to do some comfort food on the food truck because I do not want to do a healthy food truck. Although there's not that much happening in Houston like that, I got some ideas on some comfort food things that I want to do too. But the focus right now is definitely healthy food for me.
Okay. And you've been in business now how long?
It'll be 6 years next month, man. April 17th, actually.
Man, salute to you, man. Congrats. I know it's a struggle and can be a journey. Ups and downs. Running your own gig.
Yeah, if it wasn't any negative moments, man, I wouldn't be able to call myself an entrepreneur because you're gonna have highs and lows, peaks and valleys. So for me, I'm just, I think if you want to become an entrepreneur, or if you already one now, and anyone's looking at my live, I want to say that you probably have to have a very, very good Christian life, whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Prayed up. If you have a partner, they need to be prayed up with you. Aside from obviously having money and stuff like the obvious intangibles, you definitely need to be prayed up because you're going to have some horrible days, but you're going to have some phenomenal days. So you just got to be ready for that roller coaster that you're about to take part in if you are an entrepreneur or looking to get into becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and we know being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, right? It's people. I think people see the good end of it. They think, I'm my own boss, have freedom. I ain't got no job to go to, and I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other side of it. The challenges of having own business. What's some of the challenges you have to deal with?
First challenge is the Monday. There's some weeks that I'm saying in my mind, right? Okay, I got rent coming up. I got light, cell phone. You got your bills.
Right.
In my mind, I'm like, I just want to make $1,500. I just want to make $2,000. Because I make money not just on Fridays when everyone's ordering. I make money throughout the week too. But I'm saying at the end of the week total, that's what I'm gauging as far as my weekly budget, right? And I come $500-$600 short. I don't care who you are, human or not, man. If you don't have that money saved, if you're not good with your budget, if you're not someone that's not smart with money in some type of facet, it's gonna be a little rough.
And like you and one of me and Jay's favorite things, man, is Goodfellas, where he say, the business was slow this week. Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
Man, you had to go get your daughter or your son this week. Fuck you, pay me. Light bill, gas bill, they don't care.
Yeah, that's when you got to get aggressive, man. So yeah, you know, the money aspect, man, you have to really know where your money is. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny. Everyone knows what their bank account balance is. They know how much money they got in investments, but you just really have to be able to balance and maintain, save. You got to know, you know, as a new entrepreneur, you may not know this, but me being in the game 6 years for my business, I know exactly, or based on previous years, the months that are going to be slower. Right. I know my January, February, March, that's the new year, new me people. I know that's the people that's in the gym trying to make a change. You got all of those folks. You got it slows down in April, May a little bit, back crunk at the end of May for summertime, all the way through summer. I know that second week in August is going to be slow just on GP because everyone's trying to get their kids school clothes and tuition got to get paid for colleges and stuff like that. So you got to know the peaks and valleys of your business in order to be able to understand how to keep the balance. So that's one of the major factors, right? And that's the factors that no one likes to talk about.
Yeah.
All you see on Instagram, Facebook, or these different outlets is, man, he bought a new Benz truck, or he just got a new building. They got the keys. Thank you, God. And all of that is great. But you don't see the journey that it took to get there. You know, the different things you had to go through, the amount of clients you had to attain to get to that level. You know, there's big clients that I have. I've signed many NDAs for Texans and a couple of Rockets players that I've cooked for. I can't name their names because it's under contract. But those boys have kept me in business. You're talking about a $4,000-$5,000 payday each person versus, you know, maybe a couple of hundred from this client here, this client there. So you got to know your business and you got to know your market, if that makes sense.
Do you get a lot of your friends or family that come to you? One thing that I know this one video that's been out for, I don't know, about a year, that Fat Joe says, the price has changed. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Right.
So you ever run into friends or family that wants to, hey man, hook me up? And how do you deal with that?
You know, it's not really friends and family. It really just be clients. Sometimes it's new clients that don't understand that, look, this is what I'm charging. This is what the cost is. And I'm very firm with it. It's hard for me to be like, well, I'll try to, I'm workable with, right? You know, I'll be willing to work with anybody and help somebody out. But at the same token, I got to look at my bottom line. Like, this week was slow. I need that little change. Yeah. So I try to gauge it. You know, you get a temperature for the room. You figure out what works best for you and that client. And if that's something you can afford to do here on out, I'll never change it. But if you're able to keep that, you know, a certain number, I'm pretty firm with my numbers. And I mean, it's food at the end of the day. It costs. And the food cost is not going down. It's just like gas. It's steady going up.
Yeah. And one thing that gets me about that, man, is people, they want to negotiate with the small businessman, but let them go to a grocery store. You don't hear them saying, oh man, these olives are $1.99. Can you give them to me for $1.75? You don't hear that. You don't
go to Chick-fil-A and tell them that you're not gonna pay $10 for that value meal? I say, no, you're gonna gladly put your app out to scan for your points.
Right.
And you hand your card or your cash and be like, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure. You feel me? So yeah, so I have run into that a couple of times where I have to tell somebody, hey, look, this is not, I'm a small business, yes. I'm not a big corporation, I'm not a franchise, but these prices is what helps pay for my son's tuition. This is what helps me, you know, pay my light bill, my cell phone bill. This is helping me pay my rent. Or just put money in my pocket. You don't need to know where it's going.
And bringing value to you. I'm bringing that value to you. Can you appreciate the fact that I'm bringing something to you that you are going to enjoy? If you don't enjoy it, come on.
Hey,
that's a different story.
In line. Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
You know, you said something about, you know, your peaks and valleys in the year when you're gonna have a slow month or a good month. So knowing that going in, how do you balance out, you know, your year as far as when you're slow, what do you do to kind of compensate for that down period? You know, how do you get through those slow periods?
Man, like kind of like, not to be redundant, but just knowing how to budget. That's the best thing. Knowing how to budget. Like when I'm going into the month of November, that's like the slowest month of the year. You know, you got traveling, you got Thanksgiving, you got folks shopping for Christmas, you name it. In November, A, lot of people are not thinking about being healthy, but B, just that part of my business slows almost to a halt. Like I go from 20 to 25 orders a week to like 5, 7, maybe 9 orders. So I know coming off of the summertime, man, I'm not going on as many trips. I'm watching what I'm spending. I don't really go out that much, but I try to tame down how much I'm going out. So I just watch what I'm doing with my money, because an entrepreneur, as you know, we're not relying on a paycheck, so I want to make sure there's more coming in, obviously, than going out. That's with anybody, right? But I just try to watch what I'm doing. I scale down a little bit. I don't have an expensive lifestyle. I don't live in any kind of condos. I'm not flying out of town every week, but I mean, vacations do cost, and it costs to live. So I just try to scale down my lifestyle to a point where, I just make sure I know what I got going on. I'll even pay something up a month in advance, whether it be a cell phone bill. Maybe I'll give half the rent up front, just anything I can do, just because I know that month or that next 6 weeks is going to be a little slower. So it's really just back to the basics, just really budgeting for me.
Yeah, I mean, the key is being smart with your money, right? I mean, when you're an entrepreneur and it's all on you, you can't be stupid with your money. It's not like, oh, I got a check coming next week. I can just play around with this money. It's like, no, you gotta be very smart, very disciplined with your number. I mean, very disciplined with your money, right?
Absolutely.
So I know when you first started, because I've known you since you started this business.
Right.
When you first started, you was kind of going between your main job and then, your new business. And then you transitioned over to your business 100%, right? And now you just strictly your business. That's your main source of income, right?
Right.
Have you ever had periods where you thought, man, I might need to pick up another job or something else on the side?
Yeah. Let me stop you right there. Man, I think in about year 3 or 4, I felt like I had hit a peak where I wasn't, when you lose, if you're a big guy and you lost weight, or maybe you've been at your job for 5, 6 years, and you just hadn't hit that promotion, that next level, but you're right there. Yeah. Oh man, I had that time. I was like, man, I'm finna go get me a job. I'm making about 10, 15 racks real quick. I ain't finna play with these boys. And I'm 6 months. But then the reality of it started kicking in. Dang, if somebody make me mad one time, am I really gonna respect that dude or that woman and say, no, I'm gonna probably be like, fuck you, I got a business. Or I might
like everybody hates Chris. Hey, fuck you, my husband got 2 jobs.
Right. I might not come back from lunch break, or I may be a bad employee, bro. I haven't had I call it a W-2 job, right? Because I'm a 1099 employee, right?
Right.
So I haven't had a W-2 paying job in a little over almost 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what I would be like if I had to go physically clock in, and I look at my friends, they're like, oh, I'm working from home today. I'm like, I work from home all the time. I don't know if I could get on these Zoom calls that ain't promoting my business or talking about, different podcasts and things like the platform we're on now, where I got to sit in the meeting for an hour, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could do that, bro. I don't know if I'd be able to maintain. So I've had those thoughts. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, that's one of the valleys that you're going to hit. You're going to be in those times where maybe the money's a little thin. Yeah, bills get paid, you know what I'm saying? But you want more money, you know what I'm saying? You want the American dream. So it's been times I'm like, man, could I really go work for somebody? I even applied. They granted me the interview. But the minute I got to the interview, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to waste your time.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
I'll
make it work.
Yeah, I did that twice. And it was like in year 3 and year 4, I got to a point where I was like, man, I'm going to do these people so bad. I'm going to just stack my bread and burn out. I ain't going to even give them a 2-week notice. And that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I've always been that
karma.
Yeah, but for real, karma's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, nah, man, if I get this job, I'm going to accomplish what I want to accomplish, but they're not going to get the good employee out of me. And I was like, I don't want to do nobody like that. Because what if somebody decided to do that for me?
Yeah.
What if they came on board and was like, yeah, I'm going to work for this guy. He's doing good and he's making money. I'm going to just use him for 6 months to get me to the next step. And that's fine if that's being told up front and we have an agreement, right? Yeah. But no employer wants to know that they're only going to get a 6 months, 8 months, or 3 months out of you. No employer would, not during these times, not with COVID.
Right.
Effect. So yeah, man, I've had those times, but yeah, it's a thought in, and then it's a thought that clearly goes away quick.
How did you get started in or what even got you? So you've been cooking for quite some time. I'm pretty sure that, like, I know your business started 6 years ago. You didn't start cooking 6 years ago. How did that love come about on cooking and preparing stuff?
That's a good question, Frank. I think the love came from like the results. When I first started, before I even started the business, in 2 months, I was able to lose like 35, 40 pounds. So I was just like, man, that's crazy. I'm not working out. I'm not running. I'm not doing a single push up or sit up, but just eating good, actually drinking some water, some semi-healthy snacks. And for the first two things that really blew my mind is I lost a ton of weight in a short period of time, and I was saving a bunch of bread. As a car sales rep and as a sales manager, our job was to get meals for the other managers. So I may have to go spend in a week. I may spend $1,000 on food in a week, right? A week's time. We're sitting down all day eating. We're at Papa's Barbecue, Hooters, Papa Do's. We're eating sit down food 2, sometimes 3 times a day, 5, 6 days a week. So we get reimbursed, but it was just the fact that I was going through a lot of money, spending money for the other. And even before I got promoted, man, I'm spending money like it was water. And when you got your meal preps, I'm just going up to the employee, lounge, the fridge, warming it up, eating it. Not only was I more effective to come back and work at an earlier time, right? Because I was already eating my food, but I'm not going out to Hooters. I'm not going out to Papa's Barbecue and so forth to spend any bread. So I may take one day where I got bored with the food, or maybe I left it at home by accident and I'll go get a meal. But what's $20 one day out the week versus $200-$300 for the whole week? Because, you been on food and stuff. And, if you know anything about car sales, you're working 10, 12, sometimes 14, 16 hours a day. So you're going to eat a couple of times for sure.
Yeah.
So saving the money, the ability to have the meals there, and just the fact that I was able to lose that money, lose that weight, I seen a passion, and it kind of lit something in my mind, like, you know what? I could turn this into a business. This is crazy. And I already enjoy cooking because my old man, he's a big time cook. He's not a chef by trade, but that's, I mean, he's always been like a great guy in the kitchen. And anybody that knows my dad or had the chance to taste his food, man, they're always like, man, your dad making a cake. Man, can I go over there for Thanksgiving? Everybody, right? Yeah. So, of course, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. So I was able to pick up the same trait, watching him, learning, letting him, him let me get in the kitchen. So it had became a passion long before, like you said, I got the business. But once I started losing that weight and saving that money, I was like, you know what? This would actually be pretty dope as a business.
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube, and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
Because I never imagined doing this. I ain't gonna lie to you. Never imagined being a food guy for a living. It never crossed my mind until I had got the idea, and then I just kind of took it, and it just went up from there, to be honest.
So you're saying basically, you had your path already mapped out in your mind.
I thought I was going to sales, bro. Sales, retail, sales, whatever. Seriously.
And the universe, just basically God, universe, Allah, Krishna, whatever people want to call it. It took you to that other route to bring you to the success that you are ultimately at right now.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. My idea of where I thought I would have retired would have been working in a sales environment, sales management, mid-level, executive management, sales job. Sales obviously is the key word here because there's no cap. And I had been doing it for the last 15, 16 years before I got my food company. So that's just why I imagined I was going to retire a job or some type of career where I had been in sales because the money was crazy. And I still was able to somewhat control my schedule, but the amount of money I made and the freedom I had from sales was not your typical 9 to 5. I got to be desk bound for so many hours. I got to be in front of a computer or sitting in a cubicle or even working from home, right? So, and I just enjoyed meeting different people. So I translated the aggressive salesperson that I was into the business side of it. And like you said, Frank, the universe just kind of steered me another way. And I've been rolling with it since.
That's what's up. But it's funny how it works and funny how God works, right? So we can have our own plan, right? We can have a plan mapped out. We do vision boards. We do all this, mapping out our goals and all this. And something may happen. And what you have to do is be open-minded to think, no, I'm not going to just stick with this because it's my plan. Something's telling me, check this out.
Right.
Look this way. And you got to trust it and have faith, right? And say, okay, let me see what this is, because the ultimate plan is always better than your plan, right? It's always like, my plan, I'm just going to be a salesperson. but you know, something happened in your life, and like you said, like the weight loss, and you realize people come to you like, "Hey, can I buy a meal from you?" Like,
right.
Should I be doing sales, or should I be
right.
exploring this? So you always gotta be
That's still
open
sales
to
too.
the bigger plan for your life, because you don't ever know what it is, you know, your purpose or your mission is, right?
Absolutely.
And you was open enough to realize, hey, there's a bigger thing out here for me other than just selling cars.
Right.
And it has worked out for you. And now, you know, Rich Fit Foods,
Right.
you know, is booming.
I concur on what Tiger Woods just said. So Big Rich, I'm just
Tiger Hoods. Yeah.
Tiger Hood. Tiger Hood, y'all. Hey, he preaching. So Big Rich, let me ask you this, man. What made you take that leap of faith? What made you ultimately say, you know what? I'm leaving corporate America and I want to go pursue this dream of owning my own business?
Man, I think I had the entrepreneurial spirit the whole time. The lady that I went to, man, is a chick named Christy Staples, good friend of mine, man. My son is 21. She watched my son. He was 1-2. So I've known her 20 plus years. And at the time, her business model was called Get Lunch. And it was getting all of your ideas out of your head and putting it on paper, getting you to DBA, you know, launching your website, getting you like a commercial or some type of marketing plan put together, basically putting together a business plan and modeling a business and putting it all on paper. So this could be something that you can physically do, right? So I paid her for 2 hours of consulting. We had a 4.5, 5-hour consulting session on a Sunday. And literally in 28 days, we put the business together. And she was like, when I first came to her, she was like, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you for 5-6 years to leave the corporate job to come over, because you've had an entrepreneurial spirit in your mind. When I was at FAMU, when I was in college, man, I was selling everything: English papers, donuts.
Wait a minute. He said English papers. That sounds like that may have been a little bit of
It was a little illegal, but look,
the statute of limitations is gone.
Oh yeah, I'm out of there. I'm 20 plus years in the game. Hey, look, this company like, man, I see your English class, you acing these papers with no problem. Can you help me write my paper? I'm like, yeah, what you need? Well, I got $80. Well, I can get you an 80. I got $90. I can get you a 90. Whatever you could pay, that's the kind of paper you was gonna get. I just need a couple of samples to see how you wrote and to get your language together. Yeah. I stay up all night writing 5-6 papers. I was making $500-$600 a day selling English papers. That was entrepreneur at 17, 18. We were selling 100 dozen donuts. We would buy 100 dozen donuts for $150. Krispy Kreme is out there in Tallahassee. I don't think they have Shipley's. At least they didn't back then. We would turn that 150 into 310. We would flip those 100 donuts 3 times. So I was making $930 on selling donuts. You feel me? And I'm flipping English papers. I'm doing Madden tournaments. Anything that can make money, Steve-O was doing, baby. I was hustling. So I had the entrepreneurial spirit, man, even as a young dude, and really didn't know it. So when I got my, first job coming home from family, I was working in a call center. I worked there 2 years. I was like, man, I can't sit in front of no desk all day. I got to get in sales. And when I got in sales, I found my calling, not knowing that it was the universe sway me around and get me to my own business. But like I said, to make the story full circle, Christy was like, man, I was waiting on you to get your business for the longest. Now that you're here, let's rock. And we put that together literally in 28 days, man. I had a small, soft grand opening in my old apartment on the Southwest side. Man, I made something like $700-$800 that day. I said, oh, it's over. My food, you already know.
Hey, put the manager on the phone. Hey, what's going on, Susan? I ain't coming to work no more. See you.
Yeah, man. And when I tell you, inside of 6 months, the whole dealership had my food. I'm talking about the CEO worked there. This lady's worth a few $100 million. So she ain't just trying nobody food, but she had been hearing the word and the buzz around like, oh man, I heard your food was good. Can I order? Ma'am, how much you want to pay me? Right. So she decided to order, man, and it was kind of live. Like I was here for it. So
you made that decision.
Like Jason said, man, the universe just kind of swayed me a different way, and it just went from there. So taking a leap of faith was almost kind of like a given to me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Steve. So you talk about the lady you just said that you sat down with and had this plan with. So I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, mentorship and coaching is like super, super important, right?
Right.
So for your journey, have you had, besides that lady, have you had other mentors or coaches like bring you along, help you out through your journey, or has it just been you learn as you go?
Man, it's been a little bit of both, man. I definitely learned as I go. It's OJT, on the job training. And then actually from church, man, I got a couple of mentors, man. Roderick, Rodney. Is it Rodney or Rocket? It's Rodney. I'm horrible with names. I met him in Bible study class, and he's more on the church side, been a mentor and helping me on a godly like way. Like, this is how you see things through God's way, and this is the route that I would go. And he's older, been in sales 20, 25 plus years, very successful. So he understands my plight, the move from corporate on to entrepreneurship. And then there's another mentor I got, Val, from church as well. And we talk on just a grown up, being a dad, having the kids, balancing life. Hey, you've made this amount of money. This is what you need to do with it. You learn how to invest. So I really juggle between those two mentors. And then a lot of it is on the job training too, man. Just understanding the needs of my clients and, what's been working best. I see some things don't work. I correct that and tweak it, fix it, and put it back out and so forth. So it's been a mixture of the two, to be honest with you.
Okay. I was wondering, I asked that because I know, some folks just take this journey and figure it out as they go.
Right.
But I know some folks find a mentor, a coach, that can kind of help them along. And I think mentorship is very important, in all aspects of life, whether it's business, personal growth. I think having a mentor is super important, especially with things going on, as they are today. It's just having someone you can go to and like, hey, man, I'm going through this. What do you think? Or have you had the same problem? And they can like, yeah, hey, listen to you, young blood. X, Y, Z, this is here, and I think it's like, it's beneficial, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's very beneficial.
Big Steve, did you pay for those mentors at that time? And if you didn't, looking back at it right now, would you have?
Good question, man. No, I didn't pay either one of those guys to mentor me. Both of them were just very organic relationships. I know them both from church. I actually met both of them in Bible study, but one guy, he literally kind of took me underneath his wing and was like, man, he showed me how to teach Bible study the way that the church wanted us to teach it. So that's how we became cool. And so I always would ask him questions. And I'm not a celebrity around here, but to drop a quick celebrity name, he actually introduced me to Usher Raymond's mom. And I'm on a first name basis with her. That's how we was able to go to her crib for Super Bowl in 2019.
Yeah, I mean,
and Jason can attest to it. Like, I ain't gonna just say a name and act like I know. Like, I know her. Like, I can call her and, what's up, girl? You good? So was able to, that was like in the first year of my business. I got a chance to meet her. If you remember, 2017, I think is the last time Super Bowl was in Houston. Okay. Well, it came to Houston. Obviously, we wasn't in the Super Bowl, but it came to Houston. I want to say it was Tom Brady and I forgot, it was New England and somebody else. But I got a chance to meet her at a media. I had a chance to meet her like a fancy type of luncheon type of situation. And just from his mentorship, he believed in me so much. He's like, man, I got this lady I want you to meet. And he kind of kept it under the wraps. And I'm like, this lady, who is this lady? Oh man, she's kind of heavy in the game. You might know her. When you see her, you might know who she is. And we get to the luncheon. I'm in a bow tie, full suit. I'm like, Usher mama, I know who that is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Had a meeting with her. She wanted to manage me. She wanted to be my manager. And I was like, oh, no, I heard she crazy. Man, I met her, totally different, man. She stand-up lady, cool, laid back, just Southern woman that just want good. You know what I'm saying? And we built a business relationship. And from that mentorship, just that little thing right there, blossomed into like a crazy friendship. Like we became cool, and he turned me on to her amongst other people. And so would I pay for it? Absolutely. They said, hey man, it's gonna be $100 an hour, $150 an hour to consult with me on a weekly basis, whether I had it or not. I'd scrape the money together just to be able to get that because that education, that mentorship, just that tutelage that they passed down to me, man, is priceless, brother. Some of the stuff that they gave me, man, I lost my older brother at a young age, so they were more like an older brother type of figure, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
These are my priceless gems, helping me through like relationships. So it's been a lot of good things that they've both been able to share with me on a grown man level, right? That helped me understand a lot of things from a different viewpoint, because they're much older. I think Rodney's like 62 and I think Val's like 57. So they're both older guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my early 40s. So they done been there, done that times 10, you know? Yeah. And one of them's married, one of them's not. So I take both their opinions very seriously. And it's just, you know, it's kind of crazy, man. But yeah, I definitely would pay for it if they would have charged me or if that was something that they expected, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad Frank brought that up, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, you know, business podcasts and, you know, self-improvement podcasts. And often they talk about investing in yourself, right?
Right.
And so often people kind of balk at, oh, I'm not going to pay for that class, or I'm not going to put that in a course and I can just figure it out. And it's like, if you want to improve on something, if you want to get to a certain level, you're going to have to invest in yourself and spend a little bit to get that knowledge and get that mentorship or education to actually get to that next level. Right. We gotta stop being like, oh man, I ain't got to pay for this. Why don't you just tell me what's going on? No.
No, you gotta, and you gotta earn it. So a couple things, man. Just like with you, Big Rich, man. I've been in sales for a minute, for 25 years actually. Oh, and wow. One of the things I'll never forget, you know, I always take my little gems from each sales job that I've had. One of my sales managers, she said, you know, I sold windows, and she would tell me, hey, here's the price of the windows are this amount, but if they do this, we'll take it down 5-10%. If they do this, we'll take it down, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, why don't we just take it down from there to there from the jump and not be pussyfooting around with these people. Right. She said, one thing about that is people have to earn, they have to feel like they earned it. They have to feel like they earned it. And I think that's what one thing, like you just said, we don't give away the game for free, you know. Yeah. If somebody, they got to do one thing. They got to either do it with money or they got to do it with time.
Because when you actually invest, it's more valuable to you, right? If I just give you something, you're like, yeah, okay, that's cool, whatever. Yeah. But if you got to pay for it, best believe you're gonna be like, oh shit, nigga, I'm in now. What you got? Yeah. I just pay a grip, nigga. Feed me. Yeah. Right. If I just say, here, man, do this, like, yeah, I'll kill you. I hear OG. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. But if you got to pay for it, best believe you're gonna be like, yeah, it's valuable to me now. What you got?
But you invested with your time, and that was what's up, man. You took that game and you flipped it. That's what's up, man.
Oh yeah, man. And it's crazy. Just to expound on that that mentorship, like you said, I didn't physically pay them to consult, but the Rodney guy that introduced me to Usher's mom, man, I had to pay for my trip. And you talking about a young man that just got into entrepreneurship, profit level was a real low. I had to pay for a $400, plane ride trip. I had to pay another $500-600 for my hotel room. He had his own room. I had my own room, obviously. So I had to put in some money to get there, right? He wasn't just going, hey, I got you covered. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, I made sure I took care of a couple of his lunches because, when we flew to Atlanta and let me also touch on this. When I say stepping out on faith, I hadn't emailed this lady. I hadn't called her. There was no text messages, no social media exchange. It was all on his word. Hey, I'm gonna introduce you to her. We got a meeting on XYZ day. We're gonna go to her offices. I don't even know nothing from nothing. I'm going by what he's telling me. And when I tell you, we pulled up into her, like she has a plaza. She owns like a whole plaza. Pulled up into the plaza park and went to her office. I'm sitting there talking to her. I'm just mesmerized, like. Wow. And the lady knew everything about my business.
Wow.
She knew everything about my business. I'm like, man, I'm just getting out the gate. Check me in a couple of years and I'm really rolling. Like, this is nothing. Yeah. So when you pay for something you value it, I totally agree with you, man. If you get it for free or if it's handed to you, it's I appreciate it. Thank you, OG, or whatever. But when you got to pay a couple of $100 or you got to pay some type of fee, you value that. And one of my goals, speaking of value, is to make it to Grant Cardone's. You may have already been, Frank, but Frank Cardone.
Not yet.
Man, I pay that 5 G's, that 4 G's.
Man.
That he's dropping the different stuff that he's talking about. These are people that are already successful in their own businesses, whether they're entrepreneurs or they work for someone or both. And These folks are going back home and just taking their business to the next level. You know, I want to be able to afford that on the company, right? Like, hey, I got this 3G set aside. Let me pay for this. Let me pay for my flight, whatever the case is. So it's stuff like that, man. If you're not investing in yourself, like Jason said earlier, what are you doing? You're stagnant at that point. I totally agree with those points, man. Good points.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, speaking of mentoring and coaching, so I want to ask you about your folks. You know, you mentioned your dad was a big cook coming up. You know, to get to where you are, it's not just who you've known since you've been an adult, right? You had to have some influence as a child to come to be a man that you are, right? So, you know, between your mom and your pops, what kind of influence were they on you as far as becoming the man that you are right now?
Man, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. I'm close to both my mom and my dad equally. I think I got closer to my dad as I got older, right? I'm an older guy. I'm a father. Obviously, he's a father, but I was always a mama's boy. So it's kind of like the shift has been made. My mom has always been there for me because she's a mom, and that's what Black moms are about. If that goes without saying, right? But I think my dad has become a heavier influence because I remember back when I was young, middle school, high school days, I watched him sell cake. Damn, he's a pastry chef. I watched him sell cake. This is in the late 80s, early 90s, no internet. I'm watching him make 5-6 G's on selling cakes. About going to salons, doing the baby boy thing, but like a little bit more class.
Right.
People that he knew on his job, word of mouth referrals. And I'm watching him every month, like, and he would never count the money in my face, but I ain't dumb. I can count. I'm looking at it. He's selling $100 cake here, $150 cake here. I'm like, dang. And this is back in the day with no internet, no nothing. This is word of mouth referrals and just his hustle. So I think the entrepreneurial spirit was kind of brewing up in me as a young man. And just watching my dad, both my parents are educated, both of them a degree. My mom's got a PhD, my dad's got a couple of degrees. So I always knew I had big shoes to fill because they were the type of parents that, you know, hey, look, go to school, get your education, work your job for 30 years, live on your 401. That's what that generation is about, right?
Yeah.
You feel me? So I will also throw in there, just to throw a little jab in there. My mom was not feeling the entrepreneurial spirit when I became an entrepreneur. What is your backup plan? How much money you got saved? You got some money to fall back on? When Nathan, which is my oldest son, my oldest kid, when he goes to school, can you pay his tuition? Is that something you're ready for? Like, my mom was hitting me with some life questions that I had no responses for, or I wasn't quite ready. So I think their influenced me in a lot of great ways, man, because like I said, they had big shoes to fill. They both were educated, both, you know, are successful in their, my mom's a nurse, been a nurse all my life. She was pregnant with me in nursing school, so she's been a nurse 40 plus years. My dad was HPD, he was 12 per se, but he did that for 32 years, but he was a community service HPD officer. So I watched how he affected the community and how he leveraged his job to take on his entrepreneurial spirit. And watching my dad and watching my mom was in the Army and was a nurse. I'm watching them juggle these different jobs and these different things. I'm just like, oh, it can be done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my mind, when I went to fam, when I was, 17, 18, going to Florida and Tallahassee, I was like, hey, my mom ain't got to send me down here with a lot of money. I'm going to get it. So when I came back home with about 7-8 G's in my account, she was like, what are you doing? Don't worry about it. We good. She was going to blow through the money. I was like, no.
I got this.
So I think their influence had a lot to do with, without them even knowing, indirectly, right? They had no idea that indirectly they were kind of grooming me to be an entrepreneur in a sense. So if I was going to be that career guy, like we talked about earlier in the podcast, if I was going to be that career guy, that was the path I felt like the universe was pushing me towards. But it slowly shifted right on back to what I kind of learned since I was a young jit.
That's what's up. I appreciate that, man. And one thing that you just hit on is that I really love and I can really relate to, like you just said, our parents, I'm 48, Jay 49. Nigga,
hey, man.
But our generation, the thing about that generation, man, they were taught to work till you 65 to 67 now, but work till you 65, get your pension, but stay in that job and then move and then live off their retirement.
Right. That's exactly
our generation right now is, hey, we need to, I think we became that more woke generation where we saying we don't want to work for them our whole life. So a big percentage of us are saying we don't want to work for somebody else our whole life. We want to do our own thing. And then I'm so excited on what my daughter and my son is going to do. But my daughter's 14 years old. I am super excited to see where her life is going to lead, because I know where I am. And I don't necessarily want to work for my company that I'm working for till I'm 67 years old. I plan on growing, and I'm just excited, man. So I know what you're saying on that.
Yeah, no, real talk. We are in a different time right now, a different time, different era. Our folks, parents grew up, one way. They taught us a little bit what they knew, but it's a different time. We have so many opportunities right now in front of us that we can do so many things. It's a lot going on. So Steve, I know that you mentioned your son a few times here.
Okay.
He's in college now?
Yeah, man. He's 21. Is he a sophomore or a junior? Don't give me the line. I think he is a junior in college. All I know is every spring I gotta drop that tuition. That's what I do know. How about that? At one point he wanted to be a male nurse because my mom is a nurse and him and my mom are close, you know what I'm saying, close to his grandmother. So I think he wanted to be in the medical field, but he told me, he was like, Pops, man, I don't know if I really want to be a nurse. Like, it's kind of hard, and I don't know if I had that much dedication. I said, well, look, find a major or find a career that you still can be invested in, whether it's the medical field or something else. But if that's not your calling, man, don't force it, because I don't want to pay for something and then you drop out, right? I don't want to waste my money. Let's be real. But outside of that, I want him to do better than me. I didn't graduate. I didn't finish. So I want him to finish. And if finishing is business administration, if it's psychology, and I'm not going to call it a BS degree, but if it's something that's not as great as what he thought he was going to do, at least he finished. So my thing is to keep pushing him to get to the end of the journey and not just say, oh man, I'm good, or you know what, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to work, because that's what I did. And I want him to go further than I did, right? We always want better for our kids.
Where's he going to school at?
He's actually going to a community college. I forgot the name of it. Don't give me the line. It's a community college, but he's in Pensacola, Florida, though.
He's in Florida. So I know he's been in Florida, the whole time?
He's been out there since he was about 5.
Okay. Yeah, so what has it been like for you, being a father, and he's been like so far away?
Man, at one point, I didn't know that I needed therapy, but I definitely glad that I went to it. And that's another thing that a lot of brothers don't believe in, or Black folks in general, right? Black and women and men, is going to therapy, because I think I was depressed for a little while because he was here. He was born in Houston. So I was used to having him right here. I had the car seat. He was at the barbershop, my Masonic meet, grocery store, wherever I was, he was. When I had him, I had him. So for him to move to Florida, and when you're young like that, you don't have the means to just fly out of town. I can go to Pensacola anytime I want now, but I'm 41. It's a big difference. But 23, 24, whether you have the means or if that's even on the agenda, you're trying to work. You're trying to build, your empire. You're trying to save money. So I think I went through a small depression period where I was very down and out because, he was in Florida, I was in Houston, and I wasn't able to be the father that I know or felt like I could be. And so for me, going to therapy in my mid-30s was like probably the best thing, because it helped me uncover or realize some things that I didn't know that I was holding in, right? Some anger that I had towards his mom, some resentment I had. Maybe I didn't think I was as good of a father. And then also a little jealousy. I'm seeing other guys that I know, friends of mine, church members, you name it, they got their kids on a regular. Why am I having to fly out there? Why am I having to fly out here? Why is that the path God chose me? So I needed to work that out, man, and get my mental together. So that's been a journey too. But, we talk every day, man. We've been talking every day for a while. Like when I got on my phone in high school, our communication got super solid, right? And he would ask me like, man, why didn't you ever move out here? And I told him, my career path never led me to come to Pensacola because the employment opportunities are not great. And it's not like I live with you. It's not like your mom and I are together. So not that I don't love you, but I felt like either staying in Houston or possibly moving to Atlanta would be the best thing for me. But just going to Pensacola, I don't know if either one of y'all visited, it's one salt grass. One. And a beach. That's all they got, fam. And like a Walmart.
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
You feel me? So I'm somebody that needs to thrive in an area with a lot of people.
Right.
You know, I'd have to be the number one insurance sales rep, or I'd have to be the number one. And I can't do that at a young age if I'm not already established out there, if my name or my family's not already out there. So I look at possibilities like, man, moving to Pensacola, that's kind of not going to work. But if I move to Atlanta, and even back then, moving to Atlanta was a little skeptical. I damn sure wouldn't do it now. It's just not feasible for me. I mean, I've thought about, having my company out there with the whole, Usher Moms thing, and it being simultaneously while I'm in Houston. That's still a possibility. But I mean, moving to Atlanta to be closer to them, that was always a thought. But I'm like, at the time, Atlanta, in the last probably 8 to 10 years, I would say Atlanta's definitely been booming on an entrepreneurial spirit. But sales-wise, I was like, man, I'd have to go work for Coke. Or I just didn't see the benefit of moving out there and me still being successful and being who I could be as opposed to staying in Houston. And we were able to work that out, man, with therapy.
Y'all get along?
Oh, man, we get along very well.
No, not like you and your ex. You and your ex.
That's a great question. I don't think that we get along that well, but we don't have to talk anymore either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in high school, it was very minimal where I had to, to have any kind of discussions with her, because as he got older, it was more like, okay, we're just paying for senior picks, I'm paying for grad, the senior grad day, they still do senior trips out there in Florida. So it was more like me just independently taking care of things for him. But when he was younger, we had to have a relationship, and our relationship wasn't that great because we were young parents. I was 20 years old when my son was born.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a young, very immature, mouthy dad that didn't have his head on right on knowing how to raise a kid. I was still a kid.
Right.
So I had to really grow up with him. So once my daughter was born, she's 12, I was in a whole nother space. But my son, oh man, I learned everything with him. So I'm thankful for the journey. It's been a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the journey because it matured me and grew me up as a man, if that makes sense.
Dog, I was 19. I was 19 when I was a baby raising a baby. Yeah, and so when my first one was born, and it's totally different now from the way that I'm raising Farron. So I get you.
For sure. Oh yeah. The level of patience, your stableness, your knowledge at this point as a father.
Right.
Knowing what to do, what not to do. Oh yeah, I already know what you about to pull.
I already know.
Yeah.
I already know.
You can't even run that by me. I'm good. Yeah. Cry you want, I'm good. Sit in the corner, I'm straight. I'm watching TV. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I told my daughter today, like she's been over here since yesterday. When I told her to call me when she woke up, said, just please don't touch my weed. And even though
You what?
touch my weed, touch my
marijuana. Touch my green.
Weed is legal up here. It's legal up here, but I don't want my 14-year-old into it. She's gonna experience it at her time, but not in my time.
You are. What a great dad you are. No, I'm not just. Yeah, I know. I know. It's all good and legal, and I know you ain't. Yeah. You ain't letting her partake on that right now.
Not yet. Not yet.
Kansas City?
Yeah. It's legal up in Missouri. They got it legalized I think it's about been 3 years now.
Okay. See, I'm not even. I mean, I know I figured from Kansas City, got the KC hat, but I didn't know you was in Kansas City. I know Mr. Stewart here is in Houston, so I just assumed you were in Houston. Okay, dope.
No, he left me, dog. Them cats left me, man. Him and Carl left me back when we was kids, dog. They dirty. Them motherfuckers dirty, dog.
That's why he's KC to H-Town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, get like me.
Right.
You want to come on. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you, Steve. So you was talking about you had to go to therapy, right? For some issues. And your son's grown now, so you can talk now about like kind of looking back on stuff. So has he come to you with any shit like, real shit about shit that's been bothering him from back in the day, like, we
had those conversations, and they're not as tough as you think they are. Not for me, because now I'm grown. Like as a middle schooler and an early high schooler, you can't throw that at them, right? Because it's not, that's not something that they quite ready for. But as they are grown, they start going through grown shit. Yeah. So like, yeah, let me put this on your plate. Let me drop this on your plate. So once a week, we have like a little thing where we talk. Because, you know, these youngsters, they don't believe in picking up the phone. They text. They'll pick up the phone if they need some money. But it's a text thing, right? What's up, Pops? Like, I normally text him in the morning. Good morning, King. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, good morning, King. That's how we greet each other. And then we'll kind of go from there. And so we have once a week, typically towards the end of the week when I'm not as busy, right? So I don't have any reason to miss his call or not be able to talk to him, because at the beginning of the week, I'm way more busier with my business. And we'll talk, and we have this, like, we call it like a round table, right? And I'm like, whatever's on your mind, we could talk about it. I don't care if it's going to take 2 hours, 3 hours, or we just need to talk for 20 or 30 minutes. Just talk about what it is that's on your mind. Because as a young man down there, I'm not living with him in Pensacola. I'm not directly influencing him. I'm directly influencing him through interactions, but I'm not living in the same city as him. So it's a little different. Whereas I grew up in a city where my dad lives in. So if I have an issue, I can just go to his job. I can go to his house and chop it up with him. Whereas me and my son got to talk on the phone, or he'll fly down here if it's really, really crucial. And so he has conversations with me like, well, why don't you and mom get along? Or, you know, what happened? Like, were y'all ever trying to get married? And I was like, you don't want me to tell you that story.
Hell no.
You don't want me to go there, man. I was 20 years old, 19. What you think? So we've had those conversations. We've had, you know, do you think you'll get married? What do you think marriage looks like for you with social media? Like, he's asked me some tough ass questions, but it's easy to talk to him because he's grown. He's in the working world. He's going to school, so he understands things in life from a different perspective than maybe a middle schooler or a high schooler would, right? You're limited in the house. You're kept in the house, and you're limited until you're supposedly old enough to go out and be on your own. And he has his own apartment, has his own car. So he knows how to move around. He travels just like his pops. His ass is gone for his birthday. He was in Orlando having a good time. He FaceTimed. I was like, who is that? Oh, those are randos, Papa. Randos? What? What is a rando? Oh, I don't have no name for them. They randos. But you know, that's how they get down. I ain't mad at them. When we was 2021, if they had Instagram, I probably wouldn't have no friends. You feel me? So we've had those tough conversations, man. And I can say it's actually helped me mature. It helps me understand things from his perspective. And that's why I said, if I decide to do this podcast, if it actually comes to fruition, I need somebody in that age range because their perspective is totally different.
The
other day in the gym, man, I'll make y'all laugh, bro. And the other day in the gym, we had HBCU day. So I had my FAMU shorts and a little t-shirt from like 07, right? I could still fit it. And it was like 5 of us, including myself. 2 of them were youngsters. They were like early 20s. The dude called me OG.
Dog, didn't that mess you up? Didn't that mess you up when you was called an OG?
Am I schooled on the court now? You know, when you go on the court, they're like, I got school over there.
Man.
Hey, man. He said, OG, I need to order some breakfast meals for me. That's what he said to me. He said, OG, I need to order some breakfast meals for him. I kind of looked at him like, that's who you talking to, bro? He's like, my bad. I mean, I can't call you OG. I'm like, man, I'm dog. God damn.
Oh, first time I got called an OG, I think it was about my son, my oldest son's friend. They're like, what's up, OG? That later that night, it didn't even take me till the next day. Later that night, I went to go buy me some dress for men and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is some bullshit. You know, OG.
Right.
Man, think about it.
I ain't knocking you. I know you got a little bit more gray in your beard. I got like 3 hairs, man. What we talking about? I was like, oh, brother.
Yeah, man.
Oh God, that is funny, dog.
OG. I said OG. Man, you might as well call me school when we get on the basketball court if I'm gonna be like that. I got school over there, man. That hurt my feelings for a second, bro.
I got school. He got an old school jumper. Come on, I know your jumper's still wet, ain't it? Come on.
Jumper's still wet though. Yeah.
Look, he wearing them long shorts that go past his knees. He old school. You know, now they wearing it right above, like 3-4 inches above their knees now. You know,
they young, they legs still in shape. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's funny. That's
He called me
funny.
OG, dog. I was hurt. I was like, hey,
who? What? Who you talking to? Huh?
And I knew he was talking to me because he said he needed
my daddy around here.
With nobody else in there that did preps. I was like, dang, that dude just called me out.
Like, let's say youngster.
Yeah.
Right, because that's what I be calling them. I call them youngsters, but my son, 21, he's probably the dude that called me OG, probably like, he's a trainer there. He's probably like 23, 24. So in my eyes, that's a youngster.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not dating nobody that young. That's too young for me. So that's a youngster to me. So yeah, he called me OG. That messed me up, bro. I was sick.
Yeah. But you know what? What you said was dope about your son, and you have these meetings, these you say round table discussions where you just whatever's on your mind, let's talk about it. That's dope.
I'm taking that gym, brother.
Yeah, man. It has, we've been doing that since he was like in the 12th grade, 11th or 12th grade. And then as he's got older, the conversations have obviously got more deeper, right? More deeper. But we started that in 12th grade because I wanted to know, like, what's going on in your mind. Like, you're a 12th grader at a black school in Pensacola, Florida, in a mostly white town. You know, what's on your mind? What are you dealing with? What issues are you having? Like, I can be your dad, but I don't live where you live at. So like I said, I could go see my old man right now. He's 20, 25 minutes away. He lives, like my last name, he lives in Richmond. So I can go see my old man. Or if he's at work, you know, he's a manager, he's retired from HBD, but he has another job. If I want to go visit him at Sam's, shout out to Sam's, I can go holler at him and go sit at his job for an hour and chop it up with him. And that's, you know, thank God I have the ability to leave and do what I want to do because I'm not clocking in per se, but I'm just saying if I need to go talk to him, I can reach out and touch my old man. Whereas it's a phone call for me and my son. So it's a different dynamic. So I wanted to create something as he got older that allowed us to really connect, man. Because, you know, a lot of these kids are just out of touch with reality about what's going on. And that's one of the main reasons. I don't know. I mean, Frank, you don't know me, but Jason, that's one of the main reasons I got to teaching Bible study, man. It's a wide range of ages that you can that can come. It can be anywhere from 18 on up to 70, right? And it's an all men's group. But I really was there for the youngsters. I really want the young guys to get some knowledge in them, get some gems, and understand, like, look, we done been there, done that. If we can prevent you from doing X, Y, Z, this is the godly way that we want you to try to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to listen to us. Right. So I think,
dog, I'm glad you said that, man, because I'm curious. I'm curious on what your advice would be. So if you see some young cats out here, man, that are D-boys or doing some hustling, how would you, as someone who hustled, may not did any dope selling, but you still was a form of hustle.
Right.
What advice would you give them to say, hey, here's what you need to do to transition that? Because you already had that mind of an entrepreneur, already had the mind of being successful. How would you tell them to transition that?
So the first thing would be, man, if they're willing to listen and if they're actually willing to listen to me, I'll sit down and talk to them about the consequences that they're about to deal with. One thing my old man taught me is for every action there's a consequence, whether it's positive or negative. And that's deep, man. If you sit down and think about that, for every action, there's a consequence, whether it's good or bad. So if I had the opportunity to talk to these young men, and I know they're out on the block, they D-boys, they selling or whatever, if they're willing to listen and they give me 5 minutes, I would just say, hey, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I know the money's good. I know the money's fast and the women are fun and popping the bottles and all that. I've done all of that in a legal way, right? But at the end of the day, you either gonna be dead or in jail. And do you want your mom, you want your dad, assuming that their parents are in their life or whatever? Because, you know, people that become D-boys get into it for a multitude of reasons. Assuming they're in their life, I'd be like, you know, is this something that you want your dad or your mom to bury you? Because I've had an opportunity to talk to some people. And I asked them, you know, you want your parents to bury you, man, at 25, 26? Is that something you really want to do? Because that's really what's going to happen. Or you're going to be in jail and you're going to be getting in the culo. You feel me? And that's not cute either.
Fighting.
Yeah, that's a reality, man. They base how many jails and prisons based on the test results or the failures? What is the percentage of jails that they build based on a standardized test and how well we either do or don't do? I forgot. I don't have the quote all the way right, but I know that they make prisons based on, like, they look at these stats and they're like, okay, these people, these Latinos and blacks only fill, 30% of them. So that 30%, we got to account for that. And we got to make the prisons based on that.
Wow.
I haven't quote all the way together, but I know it's something like that. Wow. So I would talk to them and just tell them, look, man, you either going to be in jail catching it in the way you don't want to catch it, or you're going to be dead. And is that something that you really want to do in the next couple of years? Because it's going to happen, bro.
Yeah,
what D-boy right now is 40 plus that's either still selling dope or got out the game and is scot-free and ain't did no jail time.
Right.
So that would be the advice I try to give them. And again, that's assuming they didn't want to listen to me, because most of them are old school. You don't know what you're talking about. You out here doing your thing. You a chef, nigga. You make food. Okay. I've had opportunity to get on the illegal side. I just chose not to.
You know one thing. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, man.
My son texted me yesterday. I tell him shut up, because I've been telling him let's get in this wholesale real estate game for 2 years now. 2 years now. And I've sent them videos and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, I looked at it. He ain't never looked at it. But then yesterday he sent me something, said, Daddy, I want to get into this. What was it? Real estate, wholesale real estate. I texted him back, shut up, Malcolm. I've been trying to tell you this shit for years, man. I ain't heard from him since. I'm gonna have to call him tonight. Just be like,
yeah.
They don't listen, bro. But you gotta keep telling. You gotta be persistent. Just keep in their ear. At some point, it's gonna click. They be like, "Oh yeah, it's my idea." Okay, son, you're right. It's your idea. Yeah. Really, it was mine, but okay, son.
Yeah. It makes same thing with the girl upstairs, daughter upstairs, man. I'm like, baby, if you do it this way, your success will be better. Let's change this up a couple things. I get it. She fights me tooth and nail now, and I'm like, try it this way. Just try it. She do it. Oh, and does a great job. Did that just come from me? Did I just help you? Yeah. So.
They be tripping like, Daddy, how you know? Man, come on, man. I'm 41. I done been through this.
I didn't just become this age overnight. I learned and grew through some shit. So just hear me out.
I'm for a reason at this point.
Yeah. But you know what? We're gonna wrap this thing up. I'm gonna ask you this on the closing note, Steve. So I know business is booming. You got plans. So what's the future for Rich Fit Foods? What you got on the agenda for going forward? Man?
A live, man. It's a particular person jumped on the live, and it's crazy. I want to say it out loud. We had touched on wanting to get a food truck before the pandemic, and I know me and this guy hadn't talked on a recent basis. I mean, I do business with him, good dude. But I want to revisit getting a food truck on the comfort food side, right? Not healthy meals. Definitely want to look at a food truck. I'm still trying to expand to like Atlanta, man. I want to be in Atlanta within the next 12 months and have a business running in Atlanta. I have relationships with a couple of gym owners out there. Man, I'm going to tell you, this technology is powerful, brother. I know gym owners on IG that I've never seen. Well, I take that back. I've met them in person because I flew to Atlanta and did what is called Ebony Fit Weekend. But I say that to say that you can network on different levels strictly through technology without even knowing this person. I've known a gym owner in Houston for over 2 years, finally met her for the first time, dropped off some food, and she allowed me to touch all of her clients. It's crazy, but trying to get out in Atlanta, man, and expand the business is one of the ideas. Definitely the food truck is another. And I eventually want the same thing I seen Miss Patton, Usher's mom have. I want a plaza, man. I want to have like a gym. I want to have like my food store, and I have the ability to have like some herbal stuff and stuff like that. Like I want a whole plaza of just all health and goodness. Whether I'm buying someone else's gym and I'm adding on to it, or I'm building my own stuff. Somewhere in there, I gotta have a kitchen too, right? Have some have like a Starbucks type of ordeal where you can come pick up food. Because I definitely built my business around another lady. Her name is Belicia Pierce. She has a company called B-Fit Foods here in Houston, and she has a storefront or a brick and mortar. So if you want to go buy food, you can just pull up to her store during normal business hours and buy some cold food right then and there out the fridge. That's definitely one of the three major things. So a store,
Hello Fresh or something.
Yeah, Hello Fresh or Snap Kitchen, same concept. So like a store, a food truck, and then expand the business out in Atlanta, man. That's something in the next 12 to 18 months that I've been working diligently about. The food truck is probably a third on the most important. Getting to Atlanta has really been something I've been trying to do ever since I met Miss Patton. And I really, man, if I get in Atlanta and simultaneously have Rich Fit in Atlanta at the same time as Houston, oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy, that's gonna
well,
be
man. Throw out your website, man. Do you have a website that you?
I do, and I'm gonna
Okay.
give this disclaimer because I hate to say the word nigga, but some nigga shit going on. The website, the website is richfitfoods.com. You can see the website, but the ordering process is a little down. I'm working on that because, like right now, if you put something in a cart, it won't let you order. So I'm gonna just give everybody my IG. My IG is Rich Fit Foods with a number 1 behind it. That's the best way to order right now. You can
right now you just in the Houston area, but you got the goals to expand that out.
Right. Oh, and I ship nationwide. I've been shipping for like 3-4 years. Yeah.
That's what's up. Ship nationwide. My brother is out here shipping nationwide, doing it locally, but then shipping nationwide, about to expand it out to Atlanta, man. That's what's up, brother.
Yeah, that's the plan, man. Definitely. I appreciate it.
What's the IG again, Steve?
Oh, my IG is Rich Fit Foods with an S and a 1 behind it. So Rich Fit Foods 1, the actual number.
Go out there and follow your boy. Check him out. I can attest the food is excellent. It really is. He's doing good stuff here, man. Yeah. Steve,
my dog.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
Much love, man. Much love.
I appreciate y'all. Man. I love what y'all are doing, man. I love the movement. When I seen you was putting it together, I said, "Oh, Jason got something cooking." And then it had to be around Kansas City because I know you got love for your city, man. And I ain't gonna lie to you. You live in Houston, man, but you rep KC to the fullest, and I love it, bro. That's what I'm talking about. You're supposed to rep where you from, and I can appreciate that. So, man, I love being on podcasts. I appreciate the movement, man. I love to see what you and Frank are doing, man. And, kudos to you, Frank. Never met you before. Good brother, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more positive things for y'all podcast. And I am going to subscribe. So all my live people, man, it is Kings Can Move On podcast.
Yeah. And bro, we're going to have you on again, man. We definitely going to have you on again. I got something cooking, man. I ain't talked to Jay about it. I want to do a Father's Day thing to where we're going to have the people that we had on, and I want the dads or something, if they have a dad in their life.
Dog. You need to fly down here and do it. We can do it in the studio. Do one all together. But that's offline. Listen.
Yeah, we talk about that.
Steve, hang on for a second. Listen, everybody, listen. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe and like on YouTube. Rate and follow us on your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you got. Do that. Listen, Big Frank, Big J, Rich Fit, we out. Kings Can Move On, y'all. If you enjoyed that episode, don't forget to subscribe and like us on our YouTube channel and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.